Hello everybody, it is me, Camille, and welcome to my channel. I hope you have enjoyed the last video that I posted, a kind of Q&A update video that this is my new channel. I have to kind of change what I do, what I talk about, the things that I do. So I have decided to do my first kind of story time, not really a smoky ramblings, but my first story time. And it is about the past week, starting from last Monday. Some of you watched and heard some of the craziness that I have had to deal with, that I was going through. So we're going to kind of talk and update on this a little bit more. Like I said, while it is still fresh, it literally just happened and it kind of bummed out my week. So we are going to try something which I don't know the best way to do this. We're going to try something that was requested of me to do before I fully quit smoking, and that is to smoke two at once, lighting one off of the other. So to you that requested it, I hope you enjoy. I feel like I'm going to get a really bad headache. So last Monday, I had gone out to my family's house. I had gone Christmas shopping. Let me work on my talking. I had gone Christmas shopping. I went out to wrap presents, hang out with my family, you know, relax and spend quality time. And I decided it was time to come home and let my dog out, who, no matter what, just cannot stay away from me. He follows me literally everywhere. It was time to come home, let him out, relax, smoke a bowl, smoke some weed, smoke on Herbert, and finish out my day. So I arrived home, and my neighbor, who, like I said, has been fighting with her husband, boyfriend for a long time. I always hear them fighting. I'm not sure how to flick this. I guess like that. They were fighting whenever I got home, and they were yelling, screaming at each other. So I went inside and I was like, you know what? This is normal. This is every day pretty much. This is, yeah. So I went inside, put all of my stuff down, all my gifts. Told my mom, hey, I'll sit outside and I'll smoke a cigarette with you. Then, you know, I'm gonna kind of do my own thing. I'm gonna go smoke my pot, relax, watch a movie or something. So we get outside and he is yelling at her. They're screaming, and someone pulls into the drive, and I assumed that they were there to pick her up and take her somewhere, because she had told me before that she was trying to move, just couldn't find a way. So I figured this woman was here to pick her up because she started walking to the other lady's car. So I'm sitting there with my mom talking about random stuff. And suddenly, he chases her into the house, like full sprint. She sprints into the front door. He sprints after her. They leave the front door wide open. And I'm sitting there and I start hearing screaming. Like loud, something is wrong, something is happening, screaming. So I get up, and a little detail I didn't tell you guys, because I don't trust these neighbors. I have had to deal with them in the past and called police, etc. I got up and I went inside to get one of my little knives that I had shown you guys, which I do actually have a few more to show you at some point. I went in, I got my knife, I put it in my back pocket. I ran back outside and I could still hear her screaming. So I walk over to the lady that is sitting in her car, and I'm like, hey, something's going on in there. They're screaming, she's, you know, being attacked or something. And the lady in the car is like, well, she's a drama queen, everything is fine. She started it, she deserves it. So as I'm talking to the lady in the car, he comes outside the door, and he walks over to me, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Is she all right? He's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's good. And I was like, well, you know, I heard her screaming, so I would like to go in and check on her, make sure that she's okay, make sure that he didn't, yeah. So I go up there, I knock on the door, and she opens it, and her mouth is bloody. She has these really big scratches across her neck. Her hair is a mess, and she's crying uncontrollably. She hugs me. She said, "Thank you for hearing me scream. I didn't think anyone was going to hear me." So I'm asking her everything that happened, and she walked me into her bathroom where the shower curtain rod was off, all the shampoo was thrown and splattered all over the walls, and she showed me the blood that was on the bathroom sink. I guess he had taken her head and smashed it into the bathroom sink. So I'm standing there, and I tell her, I say, okay, I'm going to call the police. We're going to file a report, we're going to get you out of here, and, you know, you're going to leave this situation, because I don't believe anyone should be in that situation, no matter how much I dislike my neighbors. So we're in the middle of talking, and she passes out. She slumps down against the bathroom door, and she starts convulsing. She starts having a seizure. So I try to pick her up, you know, underneath her arms. I try to kind of like drag her, and she's skinny. She's very skinny. But when someone is kind of dead weight like that, I couldn't get up under her. So I laid her down, I grabbed a towel, I put a towel under her head, and she started having a full-blown seizure. She was convulsing on the floor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have never had to deal with this. I don't know what I need to do. So I run outside and I get him. I'm like, hey, she fell, she's having a seizure, something is happening. Is there a shot or an inhaler, something I can give her to help her? So he comes in after me. And remember, I still have this knife in my back pocket as I'm slumped over her, trying to help her and keep her head kind of up. She was banging her head against the door frame. I'm positive he saw this knife. So he says, well, she has seizures all the time. This is normal. You know, it'll stop here in about 10-15 minutes, which is about how long it lasted. And he stood over me the entire time as I'm holding her and talking to her, trying to get her to breathe, because she would stop breathing for a little bit. And the entire time he was telling me, I'm a good guy. We should be friends. I want to be able to come over and barbecue and have a beer and be your friend. And I'm thinking to myself, your wife or girlfriend is here having a seizure. I don't like you already for other reasons that I have not mentioned. And I'm like, okay, I get it, I understand. He's like, I'm a good guy. We should be friends. Let's hang out, all this different stuff. And I'm like, okay, I get that. Is there something I can be doing for her? Trying to redirect the conversation. And he would not stop. He just kept telling me, he said, ooh, this is a lot of nicotine. He didn't say that, guys. But he just kept telling me, I want to be your friend. I want to be able to come over, drink a beer, hang out, be friendly with my neighbors. I asked him, I was like, are you wanting her to leave? Do you want her out of your house? Because it's not fair that she is having to put up with this, being beaten. It's not fair that you are having to continue this kind of relationship. Do you want her out? Do you want her to leave? So he told me yes. He wants her out of the house. He wants her gone. He does not want her to return. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I don't help her get out, this is going to continue and probably end very badly. So she started waking up from her seizure, and she looked scared. And like I said, I wasn't sure what to do in that situation. So she started to get up. She looked scared, like she didn't know who I was. And I was like, okay, things seem calm. Things seem okay. So I walked outside. And went back to my house. My mom had been standing outside of her front door listening and watching everything that had happened. And my mom was like, hey, is everything okay? I was like, she had a seizure. I'm not sure entirely what's going on. So we walked back over to my house, and my other next door neighbor came home. So I went over there and I asked her, I said, hey, do you happen to have a camera set up that possibly saw everything that happened? Because my neighbors are the type that would possibly say I did something to her, that I caused her to be bleeding, etc. She said she did not have a camera. I updated her on everything that had happened in the past hour. It was now going for an hour. I got home at 1:15 that afternoon, and it was about 2:30 by the time I left from her house after her seizure. So I updated my neighbor. I told her everything that had happened. She did not have a camera, but she came over and hung out with me and my mom. And my neighbor came out from her house. She came over to me and she said, "Hey, can I have a cigarette?" All right, I'm done. So I gave her a cigarette and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to call the police now? Are you ready to leave? Are you ready to file a report?" All these different things. And she said yes. So I called the police and it took them 3 hours to show up. They never talked to me. They talked to her, took pictures, took the full report. My mom was gone by this time, so I appreciate my mom being there because I was actually kind of scared. My mom was gone, but my next door neighbor stayed and hung out with me. So the police talked to her and told her, it's your house, get whatever you need, get out. They took pictures, asked all of his information, and they left. Are you tired, puppy? He always gets tired. He's a lazy dog. So he had left and gone to work and I guess took her keys to get inside the house. And she said, "Well, all my stuff is over there. I don't have anything with me." She had brought in like one bag and, some of her little stuff. So the police officer told her, "Hey, if you want, you can break into your house." So me and my other neighbor stood there and watched as she busted in the back door with a sledgehammer and proceeded to go inside and bring out box after box after box after box. I had literally, bigger than my bed, this area, lengthwise and everything, side of my house, was filled with her stuff. I had a chair, I had a TV, I had clothes, I had tons and tons of tools, all sorts of stuff on the side of my house. And I had told her, I was like, "Hey, if you're ready to get out, I will help you get out. I will keep it all here for you, etc." So she had broken in, grabbed all of her stuff, put it at the side of my house. Then she proceeded to leave and go to a shelter, I believe. So, this is a long story. I hope you guys will enjoy listening to it. It was not that fun for me. So she left and did not return. I believe she went to a shelter. And everything was fine the next day. I did not see her. I did not really think about it. I also did not see my next door neighbor. I did not see him at all. So, that was a lot of nicotine. It is hitting about 9:30 on Tuesday night. And I had gone into my bathroom, this is my bathroom, to smoke some weed, because that's kind of where I smoke my weed at, is I kind of just hang out, I'll take a few hits, I'll look at myself in the mirror and be like, what's up? And come to find out, there was a police officer at my door. So I went outside, heard the knocking, went outside and I was like, "Hey, what's up? How can I help you?" And the police officer is like, "Well, I need to get a report from you. I see all of this stuff on the side of your house that your next door neighbor has called in and said you stole." I was like, "Hold on, wait a second. This is not my stuff. This belongs to her name. And I'm trying to help her leave because yesterday," I told her the whole story of what had happened the day before. "Yesterday, he said he wanted her out. She said that she was going to leave, and I'm just holding on to her stuff. She has not been back since Monday night at 6 o'clock. I do not know where she is." So apparently he told them that I had broken into the house. And I was like, "No, it was not me. You can go ask my other neighbor. We watched her break into the house, and the officer said that she could." So this officer proceeds to take down all my information, fill out an entire report of what she had done, what she had taken. She went and took pictures of all the different stuff, asked me, said, "So you don't know when she's coming back?" I told her, "I have no clue. But if he wants all this stuff back, I guess take it back, because I don't want to be going to court for something I didn't do." So she took a bunch of stuff back over there that apparently she had this long list. And I told her, I said, look, I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't know if she will come back. I don't know where she is. I don't even know this chick's last name, you guys. I don't even know her last name. And the police officer told me, well, tomorrow you can go over and tell him to come and get all of his stuff. And I told her, I was like, okay, I can do that. That's fine. I will go over there in the morning when I get up and tell him, hey, if you want to come take it all, you have to take it though. You can take it all back to your house. So police officer left. I wished her a good night. I told her, be safe, thank you for taking the report. Hopefully everything is okay, and I'll go over there tomorrow. Tomorrow comes around. It is now Wednesday. I wake up, I have my coffee, and I'm like, all right, let's go over, tell him he can come get all of this stuff. I don't want to be responsible for it. I'm not the one that broke into your house. It was her. And he was not home at all. So it is now Wednesday afternoon. It's like 6 o'clock, and she shows up. And she tells me, I've found an apartment, after she told me she had no money, I don't know, that she found an apartment. She was going to come later that night and pick all of her stuff up. I told her that the police had been there, that they said I was the one who broke in, that I did not have to be responsible for all of her stuff, and to send it all back over to him. So she told me that no matter what, she would be back that night with a friend to come and pick up all of her stuff, because she did not have a car. So I told her, okay, I get it, awesome, great. I was kind of ready to be done with it, because, like I said, I don't look good in orange. I would not look good in orange. So, it hits 9 o'clock Wednesday night, and she shows back up. And apparently, she was arrested and sent to jail. Her friend was also sent to jail. The truck was impounded, and she did not know when she was moving her stuff. And I guess she had gone to jail because he then called and said it was her that had broken in, and that she hadn't been living there, but she had been living there. Very complicated, dramatic story. This took a lot of energy from me in the last week. So I told her, okay, tomorrow you will have to tell me if you're coming to get all of this stuff or what I'm doing with it, because I don't want to keep it outside of my house. If it gets stolen, it gets stolen. I don't want to be responsible. She promises me up and down she will be back tomorrow, because she's moving into her apartment on Thursday and she wants all of her stuff. Roll around to Thursday. She shows up, and she, I guess, went over to my neighbor and asked him if she could borrow his car to take all of her stuff, leave, take it all to her apartment, etc. So she came over with his car, and I was like, hey, that's awesome, you got an apartment. I'm really glad that you're here to get all of your stuff. I am so glad you are getting out of that situation, because you should not have to put up with that. You should not have to deal with that. Neither should he, regardless of his crap. His crap. So, I was like pumping her up, and she was like, you're my counselor, my therapist. And I'm like, maybe if you pay me. I didn't actually say that. So she loaded up all of her stuff. I expected that to be the final goodbye. Goodbye to my neighbor. I wish you well. I hope life is wonderful for you. So she left. It is Thursday afternoon. And I decide to take a nap. It's like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And apparently, while I was taking a nap, my neighbor had texted me that she was back over there and she was smashing things with a baseball bat. So I go outside, and all of her stuff is all over my front yard. Literally, all of her clothes, her boxes is all over my front yard, all over my sidewalk, just everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know why she came back. I don't know why she didn't take all of her stuff to this apartment that she was supposed to be getting today. But I don't want all of her stuff in my front yard. And apparently she went over, she started smashing the car windows. She started smashing down the front door, all of this different stuff with a baseball bat. And I'm like, you told me you were going to leave. You told me you were done with this life. You told me of all these goals and things that you want to do and work on. Why did you go back? So I left it at that. I did not go over there. I did not speak to her. I did not speak to him. And later I saw the police car that apparently he made another report that she was smashing everything. And I wanted to go over and tell him, hey, tell her not to come back to my house. Because I can't deal with that. I have so much that I'm doing in my own life and trying to grow and evolve in my own life. I can't put up with that. I can't deal with it. So, it gets to be Thursday night, about 6 o'clock again. And she comes knocking on the door. She says, hey, can you give me a ride? I'm trying to leave. Can you help me pack all of my stuff up? Give me a ride to go somewhere. And I looked at her and I said, you told me you were going to an apartment, that you were done with all of the crap over there. And I come to find out you went back and started smashing everything with a baseball bat, and all your stuff is in my yard. And she starts yelling at me. She's like, well, he started saying this, he started telling me this and all this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. All I want you to do is leave. Leave my porch. Do not come back. Someone's knocking at my door. Yeah, little watchdog, aren't you? He's my little watchdog. So I tell her, leave, don't come back. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So she left. She went and picked up all of her stuff out of my front yard. And I watched him and her walk down the street with her dog, all of her stuff. They were carrying tons and tons of stuff. And I have not seen her since. But story time, my kindness sometimes gets me into situations that I don't want to deal with, that I don't want to be a part of. And my kindness only goes so far. I want everyone to live their best life. I will help you to live your best life. But if you are going to continue to put yourself in a situation that is going to not bring you to the best possible person that you can be, like going back and smashing stuff with a baseball bat, my kindness only stretches so far. And at that point, I have to tell you, get out, walk. I can't help you anymore. I'm not going to be your counselor. I already counsel a lot of people with what I do already. I am not adding you into the mix. So it is now Sunday. We are starting over a new week, and I'm hoping not to have to deal with that anymore. I'm hoping that I don't have to go to court and testify, because I honestly, there's not much good that I can say. If you guys want the story time on any of that, please let me know. But, okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that this was a fun story for you, that, you know, if you're in that situation, this helps you to also leave. And, you know, if you know people that are dealing with that also, tell them, get out. Not fair to you or anyone else. But, alright, I hope that you guys enjoyed my Neighbor story time drama, which I have a lot more I can tell you guys about. Like I said in my last video, I really want to move. I am so ready to move. But, okay, everybody. Have a great day. Find something joyful. Leave me your comments on what you want to see, what you want me to talk about, any more story times, etc. Alright, bye guys.